excited. Yeah. All right. Welcome back to Believe You Are a Good Mom with Emily Wardrop and Cheree Murdock. Cheree, right?
Yes.
I was just telling her I get nervous every time before I hit record, and then my mind went blank. Okay. So Cheree is a friend and coach, and she works with teens. So we were just kind of talking about some of the issues that she helps her teen clients with, and how when we are the mom of young kids, if we can help our kids with certain things before they're teens, then we can set them up for some success. So we'll tap into that in just a second. But first, Cheree, you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I'm Cheree Murdock. I am a life coach for teens and young adults. We focus a lot on self-confidence and learning how to process emotions, getting through and navigating the world of becoming an adult. And so it's really fun. I am the mom of 4 kids. I have 3 boys and 1 girl, and they range from the oldest being 26 to the youngest being 18. And then I am now a grandma. I have 3 grandkids, 2 to 8 months, and they're so fun.
Oh, wow.
And just for all you young moms, like you should just skip that and just go right to being a grandma because it's so much better. No, just hang on. It's going to be worth it.
Yeah. I was the fun aunt for a long time, so I kind of got a taste of what being the grandma is like, you know?
Same. I have a shirt that my sister-in-law gave me, and it says aunt vibes because I've always like just loved my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Still absolutely do. And then now it's fun to be on the grandma role too.
Yeah, that is so wild. I can't even, like, when you look at Cheree, you would think she has young kids, not grandkids. I'm like blowing my mind a little bit here. Okay, so yes, processing emotions. Let's talk about that, okay? Because I talk about that a lot for ourselves, because we, as moms of young kids especially, like the kids are having big emotions and we're having big emotions, and we got mirror neurons going on all over the place, and we're all pitching fits, and they're having tantrums and we're having adult tantrums, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, it sure is.
And I claim to be a peaceful parenting life coach, and all I talk about is like all this chaos all the time, you know? And so it seems to be a duality, you know, that you can feel peace amidst the chaos. And people don't really believe me about that sometimes. And so what I explain is that I feel peaceful about the kind of mom that I am showing up as. And that doesn't mean that I show up as a perfect mom, because I don't even show up as a good mom very often. But I believe that I am a good mom. It doesn't matter how I quote unquote show up. Like when people say, like, what kind of mom do you want to be? I think we're talking about the action line a lot of times. And there's so much more to it than just your actions. Like who you actually are is one thing, and then you don't really show up as that person sometimes. But anyway, I'm off in left field on a weird tangent now, but the point is that our feelings drive those actions, right? So we want to show up a certain way, but we're feeling all these feelings, and our kids are feeling all these feelings, and there's a lot of emotion going on. And so understanding emotions more and knowing what to do with them has really helped me a lot, and not labeling myself by my emotions. Like I don't call myself a bad mom just because I felt frustrated. I know that I'm going to feel frustrated, and I'm still a good mom. And so anyway, my point of all of this rant was that we focus on ourselves a lot, on our own feelings, but we're also modeling for our kids what to do with their feelings. And those kids are going to grow up and be teens, and they're going to continue to do what was modeled to them and what they've always done to handle their emotions. And nowadays we're just learning a lot more about emotions and what to do with them. And that's great for teens. It's be even greater maybe if they could get a jump start on it while they're young. So all that to say, teach us about that.
Yeah, I would love to. Well, I just think we have to remember a few things about emotions and maybe reframe our thinking around them, because, you know, our programming is a lot of times that emotions are bad. And yet we didn't come here to be robots. Emotions connect us. They're actually that piece that connects us with ourselves, with other people, even with our higher power. Without those emotions, you know, we wouldn't actually have connections. So I think we need to remember that, and we need to remember that all emotions are necessary. It's one of the things I teach my teens that I coach is all emotions are necessary. It would be super weird if you had someone break into your house and then you felt happy about it.
Yeah.
You want to feel upset. There's power in that, in connecting with what you want to feel. And we talk a lot about how when teenagers are young children, and this is what our moms and dads do because it's all they know how to do, is okay, our little kid is sad and our child is sad, and so we give them something, we distract them from their pain, and we let them know that, gosh, we got to fix that emotion instead of just allowing them to feel it. And this is what I call holding space, is learning to hold space, hold emotions for other people, allowing all emotions, allowing everyone to feel their own emotions without fixing it. And that is hard work. It takes
Really
a
hard.
lot of practice. But, there's so much power in this. And, whenever I talk to parents, it's like, when your teenager is mad, be like, I would love you to say, oh my gosh, it's okay to feel mad. I feel mad sometimes. And so if we can start that from a really young age of your little child, your 2-year-old is throwing a fit. Oh my gosh, I can tell you're really upset. Did you know it's actually okay to be upset? You can feel upset as long as you want to. And you give them permission to throw that fit. The fit actually is going to go away a lot faster. And they're learning that it's actually okay to feel. Because when we resist that emotion and we're constantly handing them something or fixing it for them, their brain is being wired that emotion is bad and we have to run and escape it all the time.
Yeah.
So they get to teenage years and they don't know how to escape it anymore because, those things that help them escape it as a young child no longer works. They need something bigger to escape. But I feel like the problem could be solved or helped if from the very time they were little, we said, it's okay to feel sad. I'm sorry you're feeling sad today. Instead of, or, oh my gosh, I can tell you're so upset. It's okay to feel upset.
Yeah.
And now, I get to redo what I messed up with on my kids, with my grandkids, right? And so my 2-year-old granddaughter, I can just say, oh my gosh, Ellie, you're so sad today. I'm sorry you're sad. It's not fun to feel sad, but it's okay to feel sad. It's normal. And just reprogramming and rewriting that story that no emotion is bad.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with any of those emotions, and just allowing it. And there's just something huge about verbalizing that and saying, hey, it's okay that you feel this way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
From the time they're really little.
Yeah, that's huge.
I kind of help answer the question that you're.
Oh yeah, totally. So I say that all the time, right? It's okay to be mad. There's always, but it's not okay to hit your sister, And so the more I've learned about emotions and things, exactly what you just said, that I've tried to implement that, and I find that it's like, I finally kind of get it for them. Like, it's okay for them to feel all the feels, but I still judge myself a lot for feeling them. And so, like, for instance, they get home and they've been good all day at school, which means like they're feeling things, but they're not allowed to act them out. So they're just stuffing them because they don't really know how to process them. They just stuff them. And then when they get home, they explode them out all over everybody. And so I try to be prepared for when they get home, that I'm ready to like hold that space for them to feel their feelings instead. And because I know all this, I'm working on this, and I get mad at myself when I don't. Like, they come in and I'm instantly annoyed that they're pitching a fit. And it's okay that I'm annoyed. Like, that's the layer that like I'm working on now. It's okay that I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling. It's okay that they're feeling whatever they're feeling. And like, I know this in theory, but in practice, like you said, it's really hard to like actually do because we're swimming upstream. Like, we're fighting against nature here. Like, our brains are working exactly how they're supposed to be working. And we expect a lot higher of ourselves.
We do. Our brain is telling us that we could die from this emotion, and so could our kids. And so we're in survival mode, and we're trying to fix it. Where when we hold that space for ourselves and really give ourselves permission, I feel annoyed. And that's something also, just like side note, is to name that emotion really increases our emotional intelligence and allows us to process it. So what am I feeling? I feel annoyed. Okay, that's okay to feel annoyed. And this is why I feel annoyed. And that's understandable. And then also holding space for ourselves, but holding space for our kids. Oh, they've held a lot of their emotion in all day. They are feeling like a volcano ready to rupture. And that's also okay, And it's so hard to not judge all that. But when we call, like, I think there's so much power in that self-talk of, this is okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is okay.
Yeah.
It's understandable. I think there's so much power in just, telling ourselves that, like, it's okay, I feel this way. It's okay,
Yeah.
I feel this way. I'm allowing that. I'm moving away from the resistance, because what we resist persists. It's going to get bigger. We're going to rupture, just like our teens,
Yeah.
just like our little kids.
Yeah. And so the reason why we quote unquote want to fix their emotions when they're little is because we can't handle it ourselves.
Yeah.
They're pitching a fit and it's annoying. They're whining and I can't handle the whining. Stop whining. Like, I can't even think while you're whining. These are things that come out of my mouth all day. And so I recognize that, right? And I know, like, there's nothing wrong with them feeling their feelings. It's fine. And I just need to regulate myself. Like, I don't need to make them stop so that I can feel better. So that's kind of the focus of my coaching practice, is to like do our own internal work instead of like trying to control our kids so that we can feel better. But it's funny because my daughter is like already picked up on, well, they've all picked up on a lot of funny things. Like, my 2-year-old, people were like, did she just say frustrated? Like, she can barely talk and she's like, I'm frustrated. It's like a really big word for a little tiny person. Maybe she was 3, but yeah, so naming it, for sure we do that. But my daughter, she's 6 now, and she's like, she is a drama queen for sure. And so she's like, I'm so upset. The only thing that'll make me feel better is your phone. I'm like, holy. Well, then I will not be giving you my phone. That is the opposite of what I want you to learn. And so that's what you're saying, is that like when they're little, we're like, oh, stop pitching a fit. Just take my phone so that you leave me alone and so that we feel better. Then we literally are teaching them, or like, here, have some ice cream so you feel better. That's why we're all overweight, because we eat ice cream to feel better. But we know that like long term, that doesn't actually make us feel better, but it really does in the short term for a second. And they really do get these distractions, these escapes, and it goes to like, just the brain wiring is just really dangerous. And so to really grasp that it's okay that she's upset, I don't have to fix that. She can just go be upset. And if I can't handle it, like, it's okay for me to leave the room, like, if it's gonna explode. But she needs to calm down in some way that's not my phone. Like, she already even thinks, just give me your phone so I don't feel sad. I'm like, I don't care if you're, I mean, I care that you're sad, but there's nothing wrong. Like you're saying, it's okay that she's sad. She's disappointed about something. She's disappointed a lot. And she needs to learn how to feel disappointed, not cover it up with the phone or cover it up with the screen.
Absolutely. And you can validate that, gosh, I know it feels terrible to feel sad.
Yeah.
I'm so, like, gosh, I'm sorry, because it does, it feel terrible. And I can totally understand why you want my phone. And even teach her that, like, that's just so normal. And without judgment, of just like, that's really good information for us to know that, like, your brain's screaming for that phone because it wants to feel better. But let's just practice. Let's just see how many minutes it takes for you to feel better when you just actually allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Let's just time it. Like, let's just sit with it for a minute. Because if you can train these little kids to start sitting with their emotions, oh my gosh, what a game changer it's going to be for when they're a teenager and they're feeling these emotions on even a more intense level, because now hormones are part into it too, right? And so they've learned, like, okay, I can name my emotion, I can feel it, it feels awful, I can validate it, I can totally tell myself it's okay, and then I can actually sit there without this buffer or this hiding that I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to see how long I can do it. I'm going to time myself and make a game out of it.
Yeah. And all of that sounds beautiful and lovely. And again, like, I can't do it half the time because I'm not regulated myself.
Yeah.
And so there's no way I'm going to be, yeah, honey, like, it's understandable that you're upset, because I understand that you're upset because I'm upset too. So like,
so much grace. We have to give ourselves so much grace.
Exactly. That we're all just in this mess together, and expecting ourselves to like perfectly handle a situation or perfectly teach them how to handle their emotions so they're not a wreck when they're in it. Like, that's not the goal. It's all
I would just take perfect completely out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, even, you and I both know, as coaches, we coach, we teach this, and yet we still are right in it ourselves with those emotions, And so it's just, it's so easy to get in that judgment of it, or this analyzing it. And instead it's like, let's just look at it as data. Okay, when my child's really upset and they're pitching a fit, guess what? I'm doing the same thing. This is really good information for me. They're kicking and screaming on the floor and I'm wanting to do the same. Maybe I need to. Maybe I need, like, getting that whole perfect of like, I'm for sure gonna just like buffer sometimes. I'm gonna for sure get sucked into their emotions sometimes. They're for sure gonna get sucked into mine.
Yeah.
Because remember, emotions connect us too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
allowing.
I love that thought. Let's talk about that some more, how emotions connect us. Because when you said that the first time, I'm like, ooh, I want to name this episode that. Because that's so fun. And then because I keep having this thought about mirror neurons and how we're like floating, like swimming upstream, going against nature, and so maybe instead of like resisting that, like, of course I'm going to mirror someone's emotions if they're like, that's a beautiful thing. That's what empathy is, right? Like if somebody's crying and I'm a empathetic crier, like I'm crying with them, and we want that, right? And for some reason we think it's bad if it's like with the bad emotions or whatever. But if there's no good or bad emotions, then if they're upset, I get upset too, then it connects us because we both understand that we're human and we're both freaking out. And why is that so bad?
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just the story we told ourselves about it. It really is. Because let's take emotion out of it. If we never threw a fit, if we never felt sad, if we never felt disappointed, if we never felt frustrated, we would actually not be connected to those people that we feel the emotions for. We feel emotions because there's such a connection. Mm-hmm. We feel emotions with ourselves when we connect. When we disconnect, we feel nothing. We're numb. I work with teenagers like that have numbed all their emotions and they are so disconnected from themselves. Emotions are just really good clues of what's going on. Yeah. They're a really great way to understand someone and to connect with someone. I personally, I'm not going to have great relationships with people that I can't be raw and real with and feel my emotions. Yeah. My best friends, like I can feel emotions and they can too. And we connect and relate through those emotions. I personally believe in God and I am not going to pray to a God who's a robot, who doesn't weep with me. I want to believe in a God who weeps with me. That's what connects me to him.
Yeah. This is really cool. So I hear from moms, they're like, hold on, I lost it. Oh, so they hear like these positive parenting techniques or whatever, like even what you just explained, like it sounded so beautiful to say to your kid, but it's like when you have a script or something like that you're like, this is the right way to handle a situation. And then you just try to say it. So what they come back is like, my kid says I'm like patronizing them, like, like with feelings. I understand that you're upset right now. No, you don't. You're, like they can feel that you're not really in it with them. And the other thing I was thinking about what you were saying is, oh yeah, like if you're in the grocery store and somebody else's kid is pitching a fit, like you don't get that emotional reaction when it's someone else's kid, No. And it's because
there's no connection.
Yeah. So that's a way better way to think of it. Cause I always thought it was just because like I'm responsible for like keeping them quiet in the store. And so that's why I'm upset that they're being loud, is because it's like on me to like control them or whatever, And so that's why it like bugs me so much. But I like to think of it as like, because of the connection. That sounds better. So
it takes some of the, like, I don't know, the yucky part of it away, that I'm doing it wrong. It's like, no, I'm actually just connecting. Yeah. So, I mean, just hear me out. What would happen if your kid's throwing a fit and they're obviously upset? And you're like, guess what? It's totally okay for them to feel upset. In fact, I'm just going to feel upset with them. And maybe I'm going to throw a fit with them. I mean, like, what would happen if you got down on the floor and like, yeah, this is a rough day. Let's just throw a fit. Or they're crying and you actually allowed yourself to just cry with them. I mean, what are you teaching your children? Instead, it's like, stop crying. And then, oh, they're getting mad. Oh, now I'm getting mad. This is a problem. What if it's not a problem? Yeah. What if it's okay? I mean, it just sounds so counterintuitive to our brain. I know. Yeah, for sure. And so ever since I've added the tagline, like this is my big thing, is that you are a good mom, right? So I just pitched a fit and I am still a good mom. So once I have the grace for myself of what I quote unquote did that wasn't cool,
if it doesn't mean I'm a bad mom, like I'm still a good mom, even though I did that. Now I can take it to the next level and be like, there's not even anything wrong with what I did. Not, and of course, my husband's always like, you should add the caveat that like you shouldn't be abusing your kids or neglecting them or whatever. I'm like, I'm not talking to those moms. I'm talking about like fantastic moms that are beating themselves up over the littlest things or whatever. And they think they're big things, and they may be, but it's like making them bigger than they are isn't helping. Anyway, so if I'm thinking of it the way we're talking about it, then okay, so this is what I've kind of done. I'm literally in there like sweeping up the floor, pitching a fit, and I'm like, and you guys make such a mess, and why can't you clean up after yourself? And I'm like pitching an adult temper tantrum is what I call it, right? And then I'm like, and I literally will say this out loud. I'm like, and you're welcome that you have such an imperfect mom that's like totally losing her mind right now. And I'm teaching you that it's okay to be imperfect and all these things, like I'm like processing my emotions out loud is kind of like how I do, And so, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so I just
Tell
want
me
to
what you think about
offer
it.
this thought of this, because we do this. We like, I don't know. So I believe in Jesus Christ. I think
Yeah.
he was a man who was perfect and lived on the earth. Yeah, he turned over like tables, and he was angry, and there's no apology for it in the scriptures. He wept when someone died before he raised him from the dead. Like, he allowed those emotions, and he was perfect. And I hear people say this all the time, like, oh, I shouldn't feel angry. Like, it's not very Christ-like. Wait a second. It
Yeah.
actually is.
Yeah. So I can buy that he felt all the feels, that we're supposed to feel all the feels. It's the feeling that leads to the action that I feel like, no, what I'm supposed to do is like process my emotion, not like act out my emotion.
Okay,
And
so you act out your emotion, and your kid sees you act out their emotion. And so when they act out their emotion, if you're telling them all the time, like, I know I'm imperfect and there's something wrong with me because I'm doing this, you're telling them that when they do it, that there's something wrong with them.
Well,
And
and what I'm trying to tell him is there isn't, but I'm still not believing it myself. And so, that
no.
message is,
So that message actually speaks louder than the message you're saying to them, is like, it's actually okay to feel your emotions, but when it comes to me, like, it's really not okay. So I have this double standard, like, for you, it's okay, but for me, it's not.
Yeah.
And they pick up on that.
Yeah.
And so, instead of saying like, yeah, I just threw a big fit. Gosh, we do that as humans sometimes. And that's okay. It's actually okay. I just threw a fit. For reals. That happens sometimes. Sometimes we feel our emotions really big. And I'm so glad that, like, that's not, like, sometimes my emotions are really big this way with like getting upset, but look how big I love. Look how big I forgive. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And
it literally is easier for me to forgive their outbursts because I'm like, I'm an adult and I'm still doing it. Like, of course they're doing it. They're just a kid. And, yeah.
So I have this funny story about me that didn't happen all that many years ago. I mean, all my kids were still at home and teenagers, but I remember one Christmas, it was just like there was so much emotion going on. And there was this one day where I took the pillows off our couch and I was like hugging them at the Christmas tree. And I'm like, I hate Christmas. No, I don't hate Christmas.
Right.
I had a lot of emotion going on in my body. And my kids just sat there and were like, oh, like, we laugh about it so much now. Watch out, Mom might throw pillows at the Christmas tree. But what it's allowed them to do is it's given them permission to be human.
Yeah.
Because instead of me being like, yeah, that was so wrong, I was like, yeah, no, I was like so human that day. Like, I was feeling my emotions so big, and that just happens sometimes. That didn't make me a bad mom. That didn't make me an imperfect person. That made me actually a very real human.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. The other day I was pitching this fit about, because they're supposed to put their stuff in the mudroom, if they just put their stuff away when they got home from school, then we would know where it is the next day, And so the next day I'm pitching this fit, picking stuff up. There's like 900 pairs of shoes I'm picking up and gloves and all the winter stuff. Oh my gosh. And so, but then the next day I'm like making jokes about it. I'm like, hey guys, you don't want me to be, I like mocked myself of like the day. Anyway, it's just a work in progress. Like, I know that it's okay. And I still know that I'm shaming myself for it. And I know that it's okay that I'm doing that. And it's like layers, and I'm trying to peel off the layers, and it's all like, I'm a human and I'm not ever going to not be. So.
Yeah. And really, honestly, I think sometimes the best thing we can do for our kids is let ourselves be human and normal and throw those fits, because what we are showing them is that they can be normal and be messy and throw fits or feel their emotions big, and nothing is going to permanently be wrong with that. In fact, like, you're showing them also how to recover, or how to, okay, I can feel big this way, but I can feel big this way. I just feel like you showing up for you showing yourself grace when you feel emotions is going to speak so many, like, huge volumes to them that emotions are okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, making the repairs. Like, I am sorry for how I showed up. I'm sorry. Like, you don't deserve to be yelled at, or whatever. Like, I am sorry for what I did, but I'm not, like, there's nothing wrong with me, that it's okay that, yeah.
Yeah. And emotions do drive our actions for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But our emotions we have to be very careful because we label them good and bad. Mm-hmm. And our emotions are not good or bad. They are emotions. What we do with the emotions, then we may need to repair from that. But totally okay, I felt this. Yeah. Did I like how I responded? Next time I want to do this instead. But I think we need to be really careful to apologize for our emotion. I'm so sorry I was mad. No, I probably wouldn't do that. Yeah, I felt mad, and this is what I did.
Yeah.
And next time, this is how I want to handle it. Mm-hmm. Right? And then same with them, like, gosh, you were so upset. And then this is what happened. It's okay to feel upset. What's a better way to handle upset?
Yeah.
And just teaching them, and then isn't it awesome that we learn from our mistakes? Like, this is the best way to learn. It's okay. Nothing's gone wrong.
Yeah.
I do that too as a mom, and tell your kid that, like, gosh, you notice I do that too. We're just learning together. Mm-hmm. We're all learning how to feel our emotions. We're all learning how to process it. We're all learning that emotions are okay. Now, I want you to notice what happens with the connection with your child at that time when you're having that kind of a connection of emotions are okay. I feel them too. Nothing is wrong with me for feeling that way. Nothing is wrong with you for feeling that way. Mm-hmm. Nothing is wrong with you when you maybe don't have the best actions. Nothing is wrong with me when I don't have the best actions. It's a learning process. We get to learn from it, and then we get to move on. Try again. Forgive ourselves. Begin again. Right?
Yep.
It's okay.
Yeah, because the opposite of connection, I think, is judgment, and that's, what we're, like, yeah. So when they know that we're not judging them, because literally, like, all of a sudden, like, I'm driving the kids home from school yesterday because it was raining. So, and he just like punches his sister. I'm like, what is wrong with you? It's like, and what is wrong with him? Nothing. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with him. And he punched his sister, and like, but our brain, it's just like, that's the first thing we make it mean. And we don't want them to internalize that there's something wrong with them because they felt a feeling and they couldn't handle it in, like, a more civilized manner.
Yeah. And now it's like, okay, there's some stuff we need to investigate, because you must have been feeling something pretty big for you to punch your sister. Yeah. So let's find out let's unravel that a little bit. Let's find out what's underneath that.
Yeah. And what happened at school today? What happened at school? It wasn't about that last straw.
Yeah, exactly. And I want you, just one thought I had is, like, as moms, when we judge our own emotion and how we handle things, I just want us to be really clear with ourselves. We are disconnecting from ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we can't show up as the best mom that we want to show up, or as a good mom, because we are in self-judgment and disconnection of ourselves. Like, we're not giving ourselves permission to be human at all. So even if we're connecting with our kids and being patient with them, but then we come and judge our own emotions, we're disconnecting from ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. And I found that it's pretty impossible. Like, because like, for me, it feels like it's just pretending. If I've got, like, my A line down, right, the action line in the model, if I'm just trying to show up as a good mom, but if I don't have that thought feeling combination, driving it dialed in, then I can pretend for a minute. Like, that's like just willpower, but they can feel the difference when I'm genuine and when I'm pretending, and I can feel it. And I'm like, they don't want some, like, fake nice mom that's kind of weird, like the robot, right? They don't want a robot mom that's like Stepford Wives or something creepy, Yeah. So anyway, this has been great. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, just someday they're going to be parents, right? And how awesome is it that they're going to be able to be in a place where they've learned from your example of like, guess what? Even as adults, sometimes we feel emotions big and we have messy actions, and we can always change it. We can always change our mind. We
Yeah.
can always find a better way.
I always say, I'm sorry I didn't handle, or I'm sorry I handled my mad bad. That's like a cute little thing I've been saying since they were like little, you know, that it's like, okay, that I felt mad, but I handled it badly, you know?
And I can change it.
Yeah. Well, Cheree, tell us where we can find more of you, because this is so fun.
Yes.
Carry on the conversation.
You can find me on Facebook and on Instagram, Cheree Murdock Coaching. And then my website is chereemurdock.com.
Fun. And so if you have teenagers and you love my podcast, but you don't have young kids, or yeah. Okay. So fun. Do you have
this is just an awesome time for you to start young with your kids and allowing them to feel emotions. But I think the most important thing is to start with yourself.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah, that grace for ourselves and self-compassion is what I'm always talking about, because clearly I need it.
We all do.
Thanks for the coaching session. Cheree basically just coached me.
All need it.
All right. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time.